You were the first one to get estranged. You got estranged the most because like you ended up cheating on him. Like you got the farthest away, the soonest with your approach. Like you were the most brainwashed. You were the most delusional. I'm sorry.
I think that she was also, however, the most lied to. Not necessarily by dad, but also by the culture. Because she was
Yeah,
the first
brainwashed.
wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, straight up. The first wife is like taught, like, just accept it, move on. He's gonna get other wives, and you have to get over it. You have to hide your jealousy, and you have to get over it. So she's also was put in, unfortunately, the worst position as well.
Was Meri ever really in command of her relationship with Cody, or was she caught in the cycle of misapprehension and manipulation right from the beginning? For years, we saw her cling, telling herself it would be different if she simply tried harder, did more, became the woman Cody needed her to be. But was that ever truly in the cards, or was Meri just another casualty of a system designed to keep her stuck? Let's break it all down. Welcome back to Brittany, and today we're diving deep into one of the most revealing moments in Sister Wives history. Over multiple seasons, we've seen the dynamic between Meri and Cody shift dramatically, especially in the aftermath of the catfish scandal. Following the betrayal, there was a short while where it seemed Meri and Cody were attempting to fix their marriage. But no matter how many tricks Cody had Meri perform, no matter how many stipulations he placed on her, it was never adequate. He always required more. Meri has consistently stated that Cody promised her something if she did everything on his list of demands. If she corrected everything he said was wrong, then they would have a genuine relationship once more. And for more than a decade, she held on to that dream, giving up friendship, family relationships, and even her own identity just to be Team Cody. But here's the bitter truth. Cody was never Team Meri. He was never going to be. Mykelti and her husband Tony responded to one particular scene during season 4, episode 2, that drastically altered the perceptions of people toward Meri's part in all this. During this episode, Christine was struggling greatly in her marriage to Cody, particularly now with Robin joining the scene. Frustrated and unsupported, Christine did something that seemed sensible at the time, sought out Meri's advice. Now let's stop here for a moment. At one time, Christine and Meri actually were quite close, closer even than Christine and Janelle. So for it to look like Christine would go to Meri for advice, it wasn't really so strange when you think about it. And their history together, Christine probably felt that of all people, Meri would understand what she was feeling. But this is where everything goes a very different direction. Rather than affirming Christine's emotions or providing any real support, Meri offered her some appalling advice. Advice that, in retrospect, is really painful to see. She advised Christine to ignore her issue, to sweep them all under the rug, to act as if nothing was amiss. If something was bothering her, she shouldn't mention it. She should just forget about it. Now, let's really think about this. Christine came to Meri because she wanted to know how to handle her growing problems with Cody. She was looking for understanding, maybe even reassurance that she wasn't crazy for feeling the way she did. Instead, Meri completely shut down that line of thinking and basically told Christine that if she wanted things to improve, she needed to change herself, not her marriage. When Tony witnessed this scene, he was completely blown away. He just kept muttering, "That is wild." And honestly, he wasn't far off. He noted something that all of us have been thinking for years. Meri was totally the last person Christine needed to be taking advice from. And what's worse, it wasn't advice, it was brainwashing. Mel agreed, explaining that she could clearly see the similarity between what Meri was describing to Christine and what her own mother had experienced. The more they watched, the more it was apparent Meri wasn't another struggling wife in Cody's universe. She was a product of the system. The same thought process that caused her to hang on to Cody for more than a decade was the same one she was unknowingly passing along to Christine. Tony went further still, asserting that this was precisely the reason why polygamy is so unpopular in terms of women's rights. He identified it for what it was: devotion masquerading as oppression. Meri wasn't merely stuck in a collapsing marriage. She had been trained to accept that the only means by which she could be a good wife wife was to disregard her own discontentment and never to demand more. And Mykelti, she had her own opinion. Now, in hindsight, she recognized that Christine turning to Meri initially may not have been the brightest thing to do, but in a way, it was rational. Christine perceived Meri as a person who had experienced issues of a kind. She must have thought Meri, of all people, would provide her true insight, but what she got was an awakening. And now that we know everything we now know, it makes us wonder about an even larger question. Was Christine as brainwashed as Meri all along while she was with Cody? For so long, I couldn't understand why Meri hung around as long as she did. It never made sense to me. To see her hold on to a man who obviously didn't want her was infuriating. Some days, it seemed like she was purposefully ignoring reality, that no matter what she did, Cody was never going to love her the way she needed him to. But now, everything is different. Meri wasn't staying out of love for Cody. She was staying because she had been instructed to stay. She had been instructed that no matter what, the right thing to do was to remain, to compromise, to be better, be quieter, be smaller. Her entire existence was predicated upon the idea that if she could just work on herself sufficiently, the rest would take care of itself. But where did that attitude take her? Nowhere. And here's the worst part. She wasn't just using that attitude on herself. She was unconsciously passing it along, telling Christine to do the very same thing that kept her stuck. And that is what's so heartbreaking. So, what do you all think? Was Meri one of the most brainwashed wives in this entire ordeal? Was Christine equally brainwashed? And do you believe that Meri actually believed the guidance she provided Christine? Or was she merely parroting what she had been instructed her whole life? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another breakdown. Later, bye for now.